Kate Morrison stood on the bridge of her command ship staring at the message that had just arrived. She had been an admiral for 12 years, but nothing in her career had prepared her for this moment. The transmission came from somewhere beyond the outer planets, and it was not friendly. The year was 2247. Humanity had finally reached the stars. There were colonies on Mars, mining stations in the asteroid belt, and settlements on 3 planets circling distant stars. Life was good. Humans thought they were alone in the universe, or at least that they had time before meeting anyone else. They were wrong. Nina Patel worked quickly at her station, her fingers moving across the holographic display. She was Earth's best expert in language and communication. The alien message had taken her 6 hours to decode, and what she found made her hands shake. "Admiral," Nina said quietly, "you need to hear this." Kate walked over to Nina's station. Around them, the bridge crew worked in tense silence. Everyone knew something big was happening. Jake Sullivan, Kate's second-in-command, joined them. He was a tactical genius, always 3 steps ahead in any fight. But this was not a fight they had trained for. Nina played the translated message. A mechanical voice filled the bridge, cold and emotionless. "Humans of Earth, you are in violation of Dominion law. Your species has expanded into sectors claimed by the Vectar Empire, a founding member of the Dominion Collective. This collective represents 12 species who have maintained galactic order for 1,000 years. You were not given permission to settle these worlds. You did not ask. You simply took what was not yours." Kate felt her stomach tighten. Jake's jaw clenched. Nina looked like she might be sick. The voice continued. "The Dominion Collective offers you one chance. You will surrender all colonies outside your home solar system. You will submit to Dominion authority. You will accept status as a managed species under our guidance. You have 30 Earth days to comply. If you refuse, we will cleanse your settlements and quarantine your homeworld for 500 years. No human will leave Earth. No human will travel the stars. Your species will remain confined until you learn your place in the galactic order." The message ended. The bridge was silent. "Play it again," Kate said. Nina did. The words did not change. The threat did not soften. Kate stood straight, her military training taking over. "Send this to President Grant immediately. Encrypt it with the highest security we have. Then get me a full analysis of that transmission. I want to know where it came from, how many ships sent it, and what technology they used." "Yes, Admiral," Nina replied. Jake moved closer to Kate, speaking quietly so only she could hear. "This is bad. Really bad." "I know," Kate said. "Get our fleet ready. I want every ship we have on standby. Run diagnostics on all weapon systems. Check the shields. Make sure everything works perfectly." "You think they'll attack?" Jake asked. "I think we need to be ready for anything." On Earth, President Lucas Grant sat in the council chamber with the most powerful people in human government. The room was designed to be impressive, with high ceilings and walls made of marble from 6 different planets. But right now nobody cared about the architecture. "This must be a joke," said Senator Claire Davis. She was a tall woman with sharp eyes and a sharper mind. "Some kind of hoax. Aliens sending us ultimatums. It sounds like a bad movie." "It's not a hoax," President Grant said. He looked tired. "Our best people have analyzed the transmission. It's real. The technology used to send it is beyond anything we can create. Whatever sent that message is out there right now waiting for our answer." "Then we negotiate," Claire said. "We're good at that. We talk to them. We explain that we didn't know these worlds were claimed. We offer to share the colonies. We find a compromise." Greg Martinez shook his head. He represented the Mars colonies and had a reputation for being tough. "You don't negotiate with someone holding a gun to your head. They're not offering us a deal. They're demanding surrender." "But what choice do we have?" another council member asked. "They said 12 species. That means they have technology, numbers, and experience we don't have. If we fight, we lose. If we lose, everyone dies." The debate went on for hours. Some wanted to surrender immediately. Others wanted to buy time. A few wanted to fight even if it seemed hopeless. President Grant listened to all of them, but he had already made up his mind about one thing. He needed to talk to Kate Morrison. They met in a secure room deep beneath the Capitol building. No cameras, no recording devices, just the President and the Admiral. "Tell me the truth," Grant said. "Can we fight them?" Kate thought carefully before answering. "Our public fleet? No, we have 40 warships designed for patrol and planetary defense. They're good ships, but they're not meant for a major war. If these aliens are as advanced as they claim, our public fleet won't last long. Our public fleet, Grant repeated, catching the specific words Kate used. Is there something you're not telling me? Kate met his eyes. Sir, there's something I need to show you. But once I tell you, there's no going back. You'll have to make a decision that will change everything. I'm already making decisions that will change everything, Grant said. Show me. Kate pulled out a datapad and entered a long security code. A holographic image appeared between them, showing a sleek black ship unlike anything Grant had ever seen. 10 years ago, Kate began, General Peter Hayes came to me with a theory. He believed that humanity would eventually meet hostile aliens. He thought we needed a backup plan, something hidden, something powerful enough to defend Earth if diplomacy failed. Grant stared at the image. What am I looking at? Protocol Black, a secret defense program funded through black budgets and hidden accounts. We built 50 warships using experimental technology, dark matter drives, quantum weapons, energy systems based on theories most scientists think are impossible. These ships have never been publicly acknowledged. They exist in hidden facilities across the solar system. 50 ships, Grant said slowly. You built 50 warships in secret? Yes, sir. With respect, you're the 5th president who didn't know about them. General Hayes and I decided that this program needed to exist outside normal government oversight. If everyone knew about it, the secret wouldn't last. If the secret didn't last, the weapons wouldn't be a surprise. Grant sat down heavily. Can they fight? Can these secret ships actually win against the Dominion? I don't know, Kate admitted. We've never tested them in real combat. The technology is revolutionary but untested. We could deploy the Black Armada and win decisively, or we could deploy them and discover that alien technology is still superior. It's a gamble, and if we don't deploy them, if we surrender, then humanity becomes a managed species. We lose our freedom. Our colonies are taken. We're confined to Earth for 500 years. By the time we're allowed to leave, the galaxy will have moved on without us. Grant stood and walked to the window. Outside, the city continued its normal routine. People went to work. Children played in parks. Nobody knew that everything was about to change. How long would it take to deploy this Black Armada? He asked. 72 hours from the order. The ships are ready. The crews are trained. They're waiting for the command. Grant turned back to Kate. And you trust these crews? They've kept this secret for 10 years? Every person in the Black Armada believes in what we're doing. They know they're humanity's last option. They won't fail us. The president nodded slowly. I need time to think. Keep your fleet on standby. Don't deploy anything yet, but Admiral, start making preparations. If I give the order, I want those ships ready to launch immediately. Yes, sir. Kate left the president alone with his thoughts. She had done her part. Now the hardest decision in human history rested on one man's shoulders. Back on her command ship, Kate initiated a secure communication channel. The signal traveled to the dark side of Earth's moon, where a massive facility had been carved into the rock. Inside that facility, 50 ships waited in silence. This is Morrison, she said. Begin preliminary activation sequences. Run all system checks. I want every ship ready for immediate deployment. Deep in the lunar facility, alarms began to sound. Crews that had trained for years in secret rushed to their stations. Engineers checked weapon systems. Pilots reviewed flight plans. The Black Armada began to wake up. Ryan Beck sat in the captain's chair of the Defiant, the fleet's flagship. He had been a test pilot before joining Protocol Black. He was the best ship handler Kate had ever seen, and he would lead the Armada into battle if the order came. All stations report ready, his second officer said. Ryan nodded. Good. Now we wait. Across the solar system, similar scenes played out. In the rings of Saturn, ships powered up their dark matter engines. In hollowed-out asteroids, weapons were armed and tested. In underwater facilities on Europa, crews said goodbye to families they might never see again. The Dominion had given humanity 30 days to surrender. But they had also made a mistake. They had given humanity time to prepare. On Earth, President Grant made his decision. He would not surrender. He would not condemn humanity to 500 years of imprisonment. He would gamble everything on a secret fleet that might not even work. He picked up his communication device and entered Kate Morrison's private channel. 15 days had passed since the Dominion's first message. Kate Morrison had hoped they would have more time. She was wrong. The second transmission arrived at 3 in the morning, Earth Standard Time. This one was different. It was not just words. It was video. Nina Patel decoded it within an hour and immediately called an emergency meeting. President Grant, Admiral Morrison, Jake Sullivan, and the entire Terran Council gathered in the secure command center. They watched the video in stunned silence. The footage showed a human colony on Kepler 442b. It was a small mining settlement, home to about 2,000 people. Families lived there. Children went to school there. People had built lives there. The video showed alien ships appearing in orbit. They were massive, dark vessels covered in strange symbols. The ships positioned themselves around the colony and opened fire. The weapons were unlike anything humans had seen. Beams of purple energy struck the settlement's protective dome. The dome held for maybe 30 seconds, then shattered like glass. Buildings exploded. The ground itself seemed to catch fire. People tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. The attack lasted 4 minutes. When it ended, nothing remained but smoking craters and twisted metal. 2,000 people were dead. The mechanical voice from the first transmission played over the destruction. This is the consequence of defiance. This is the price of refusing Dominion authority. You have 15 days remaining to surrender. Choose wisely. The video ended. Nobody in the command center spoke. Claire Davis was crying. Greg Martinez looked like he wanted to break something. President Grant's face had gone completely white. Kate Morrison felt a cold rage building inside her. This was not a demonstration of power. This was murder. This was the Dominion showing Earth that human lives meant nothing to them. They killed children, someone whispered. They killed everyone, Jake said, his voice hard. They wanted to make sure we understood they're serious. President Grant stood up slowly. His hands were shaking, but his voice was steady. Admiral Morrison, I want the Black Armada deployed immediately. I want every ship ready for combat. We are not surrendering. We are not negotiating. We are going to make them pay for what they did. Yes, sir, Kate said. It will be done. The Dominion sent another message 3 hours later. This one pretended to be merciful. The deaths on Kepler 442b were unfortunate but necessary. However, the Dominion Collective recognizes that humans are a young species who may not understand galactic protocols. We offer revised terms. Surrender now, and we will classify the colony's destruction as an accident. No further retaliation will be required. You still have 15 days. Claire Davis addressed the council. They're offering us a way out. If we surrender now, they'll stop. We can save everyone else. Greg Martinez slammed his fist on the table. They murdered 2,000 people and now they want us to call it an accident. They want us to pretend it didn't happen. Are you insane? I'm trying to save lives, Claire shot back. If we fight, millions could die. Maybe billions. If we surrender, we're not saving lives, Kate said. We're just delaying the inevitable. The Dominion will control us. They'll decide how we live, where we go, what we can do. Is that the future you want for humanity? The debate raged on, but President Grant had already made his choice. That afternoon, he met privately with Kate Morrison again. Tell me about Protocol Black, Grant said. I want to know everything. How did this start? Who built these ships? How is it possible that something this big stayed secret? Kate pulled up files that went back 10 years. It started with General Peter Hayes. He was head of military intelligence when we picked up our first signals from deep space. Most people assumed the signals were natural phenomena, but Hayes didn't think so. He thought they were communications between alien civilizations. Was he right? Grant asked. We still don't know for sure. But Hayes became convinced that humanity would eventually encounter hostile aliens and we wouldn't be ready. So he approached me and 3 civilian scientists. He proposed Protocol Black, a secret defense program that would build weapons based on cutting-edge theoretical physics. Kate brought up images of the Black Armada ships. They were beautiful in a deadly way, all sharp angles and dark surfaces that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. We used black budget funds, money from classified programs that nobody tracks closely. We built facilities in secret locations. The dark side of the moon, deep in Saturn's rings, hollowed-out asteroids, underwater bases on Europa. We recruited personnel who understood the need for secrecy. And the technology? Grant asked. How is it possible that these ships are so advanced? We had help from Alex Chen and his team, Kate said. Alex is a physicist who works on things most scientists think are impossible. Dark matter manipulation, quantum tunneling, zero-point energy. His theories were too radical for mainstream science, but Hayes gave him unlimited funding and no oversight. And it worked. The ships exist. The weapons work in simulations, but we've never tested them in real combat. That's the gamble, Mr. President. We're betting everything on technology that's only been proven in laboratories and computer models. Grant thought about this for a long moment. What about the crews? These people have been training in secret for years. Are they ready for this? They're the best we have, Kate said. Every person in the Black Armada volunteered, knowing they might never be able to tell their families what they do. They've dedicated their lives to protecting humanity. They're ready. Grant made his final decision. Deploy them. I want the Black Armada in position within 72 hours. And Admiral, I want you to prepare for total war. If we're doing this, we're doing it right. Kate saluted. Yes, Mr. President. The next 72 hours were the most intense of Kate's life. Across the solar system, hidden facilities came alive. On the moon, massive doors opened in the lunar surface, revealing hangars filled with black ships. In Saturn's rings, vessels detached from hidden moorings and powered up their engines. In the asteroid belt, ships emerged from rocks that had seemed completely ordinary. Ryan Beck stood on the bridge of the Defiant and watched his crew prepare for launch. His weapons officer was Maya Torres, a young woman who had joined Protocol Black straight out of the military academy. She was brilliant with weapons systems and had never been in a real fight in her life. Nervous? Ryan asked her. Terrified, Maya admitted, but also excited. We've been training for this for 5 years. I want to show them what we can do. We will, Ryan promised. Just remember your training. Trust your instincts, and don't hesitate when the time comes to fire. Henry Blake commanded the Wraith, a stealth ship designed to be invisible to enemy sensors. His ship was smaller than the others but packed with sophisticated electronic warfare systems. His job was to get close to enemy vessels without being detected and hit them where they were most vulnerable. All systems are green, his navigator reported. Stealth systems are at full capacity. They won't see us coming, Henry smiled. Good, let's keep it that way. Across the fleet, similar conversations were happening. Crews checked and rechecked their systems. Captains reviewed battle plans. Engineers made sure every weapon was ready to fire. The Black Armada had been built for this moment, and everyone knew it. On Earth, President Grant prepared to address the planet. He stood in the presidential studio, looking at the cameras that would broadcast his message to every human in the solar system. This would be the most important speech of his life. The cameras went live. My fellow humans, Grant began. 15 days ago, we received a message from an alien coalition called the Dominion Collective. They demanded that we surrender our colonies and submit to their authority. They gave us 30 days to comply or face destruction. He paused, letting that sink in. 5 days ago, the Dominion attacked a mining colony on Kepler 442b. 2,000 innocent people were murdered to demonstrate the Dominion's power. They wanted to terrify us. They wanted to make us believe we had no choice but to surrender. Grant's voice grew stronger. They were wrong. Humanity has always had a choice. We can kneel or we can stand. We can surrender our freedom or we can fight for it. I know which choice I'm making, and I believe I know which choice you'll make too. He took a breath. For the past 10 years, humanity has been preparing for this moment. In secret facilities across the solar system, we have built a fleet of warships unlike anything the galaxy has seen. We call it the Black Armada. 50 ships equipped with revolutionary technology, crews trained to the highest standards. A force designed for one purpose, to defend Earth when diplomacy fails. Images of the Black Armada ships appeared on screens around the world. People gasped. The ships looked like something from a dream, or a nightmare, depending on your perspective. The Black Armada is deploying as I speak. Grant continued. In a few days, the Dominion will discover that humanity is not helpless. They will learn that we do not surrender. They will understand that attacking Earth was the biggest mistake they ever made. His voice filled with emotion. We did not ask for this fight. We wanted to explore the stars in peace. But if the Dominion wants war, we will give them war, and we will win. The broadcast ended. Across Earth and the colonies, people watched in disbelief and hope. The Black Armada was real. Humanity had teeth. The Black Armada emerged from hiding like ghosts materializing in the darkness of space. From the moon, from Saturn's rings, from asteroids and ice moons, 50 warships began their journey to the outer solar system. They moved in perfect formation, black against the stars, almost invisible except for the faint distortion they caused in space itself. On Earth, billions of people watched on their screens. The images came from observation satellites and news drones that had rushed to capture this historic moment. Nobody had known these ships existed. Now everyone could see them. Kate Morrison stood on the observation deck of her command ship, the Defender, watching her fleet assemble. Each ship was a work of art and science combined. They had names like Defiant, Retribution, Wraith, and Phoenix. Each one represented years of work, billions of dollars, and the hopes of an entire species. Jake Sullivan joined her at the window. "It's really happening," he said quietly. "After all these years of secrecy, the whole world knows now." "They had to know eventually," Kate replied. "We built these ships to protect humanity. Now it's time to prove they work." Her communication system beeped. It was Ryan Beck from the Defiant, the fleet's flagship. "Admiral, all ships report ready. We're at full operational capacity. Dark matter drives are charged. Weapon systems are online. We can engage on your order." "Hold position for now," Kate said. "Let them see us. Let them wonder what we are. Fear is a weapon too." Beyond Neptune's orbit, the Dominion fleet detected the approaching human ships. Commander Zarek watched his screens with growing confusion. "The sensor readings made no sense. What am I looking at?" he demanded. His science officer, a six-armed creature from the Thal species, worked frantically at her station. "Commander, the readings are inconsistent. These ships appear to be using some form of dark matter propulsion. But that's theoretically impossible for a species at humanity's development level. Their energy signatures suggest power output comparable to our dreadnoughts, but the ships are much smaller." "Impossible," Zarek said. "Humans have been in space for less than 200 years. They cannot have developed such technology." Admiral Quentar stepped forward. He was more experienced than Zarek, and that experience had taught him to be cautious. "Commander, I recommend we send reconnaissance drones to analyze these vessels before engaging. If their technology is unknown to us, we should gather data first." Zarek's pride would not allow such caution. "We are the Dominion Collective. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We will not be intimidated by 50 human ships regardless of their energy signatures. All vessels, prepare for engagement. We will crush them quickly and move on to occupy Earth." The Dominion fleet began moving forward, 300 ships advancing in a formation perfected over centuries of warfare. They were confident. They were experienced. They had never lost a major battle. They had never fought the Black Armada. Kate Morrison watched the enemy fleet approach and smiled coldly. "All ships, this is Morrison. Execute Battle Plan Alpha. Show them what we built in the darkness. Show them what humans do when you threaten our home." Ryan Beck received the order on the Defiant. He turned to his crew. "You heard the Admiral, this is it. Everything we trained for comes down to the next few hours. Make every shot count. Trust your training. Trust each other. And remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for every human who ever looked up at the stars and dreamed of being free." Maya Torres sat at the weapon station, her fingers dancing across the controls. She was young, only 23 years old, but she had practiced with these weapons more than anyone else in the fleet. She knew every system, every power setting, every possible targeting solution. "Weapons ready," she reported. "Graviton pulse cannons charged and locked. Dark matter torpedoes loaded. All systems green." "Good," Ryan said. "Target their command carrier. Let's make a statement they'll never forget." Henry Blake's stealth ship, the Wraith, was already moving. His vessel used quantum technology that bent light and sensor waves around it, making it effectively invisible. While the Dominion fleet focused on the main Black Armada formation, Henry's ship slipped through their perimeter undetected. "We're inside their defensive line," his navigator whispered, as if speaking too loudly might give them away. "No indication they've detected us." "Perfect," Henry said. "Take us to point-blank range of their command ship. When the shooting starts, I want to be close enough to count their windows." The two fleets moved closer. The Dominion maintained their confident formation. The Black Armada spread out, giving each ship room to maneuver. The distance between them shrank from 1,000,000 kilometers to 500,000 to 100,000. Kate Morrison gave the order. "All ships engage." Space erupted with violence. The Defiant fired first. Maya Torres activated the Graviton pulse cannon, a weapon that used gravity itself as a destructive force. The invisible pulse shot across space at the speed of light and struck 3 Dominion destroyers. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the ships began to crumple, crushed by localized gravity fields 1,000 times stronger than Earth's. Metal screamed and twisted. The destroyers collapsed in on themselves like paper balls, imploding in complete silence. Direct hit, Maya reported, her voice steady despite her racing heart. 3 enemy vessels destroyed. The Dominion fleet reacted with shock and confusion. Their shields had done nothing. The weapons had passed through their defenses as if they weren't there. 3 ships had been destroyed by a single shot. Return fire. Zarek screamed. All ships, concentrate fire on that vessel. 100 alien ships opened fire on the Defiant. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and kinetic projectiles filled space. But Ryan Beck was ready. Activate temporal dilation field. The Defiant's experimental defense system engaged. A bubble of altered time surrounded the ship, slowing everything that entered it. Enemy weapons that should have struck at near light speed instead crawled through space like objects moving through thick honey. The Defiant's shields had plenty of time to adapt and deflect each attack. Meanwhile, the Defiant's own weapons fired at normal speed, punching through the temporal field without difficulty. Maya targeted another cluster of ships and fired dark matter torpedoes. The weapons hit their targets and detonated, releasing unstable dark matter that tore holes in normal space. The alien ship simply ceased to exist, erased by weapons that attacked reality itself. Across the battlefield, the other Black Armada ships demonstrated their own revolutionary technology. The ship Retribution, commanded by Captain Eric Stone, used quantum tunneling to literally phase through enemy vessels, firing point blank as it passed through their hulls. The Phoenix deployed nanite swarms that ate through alien armor like acid. The Thunder used directed electromagnetic pulses that fried enemy computer systems. But the Dominion was not defenseless. They had numbers and experience. For every alien ship destroyed, another moved to take its place. The Black Armada began taking hits. The heavy cruiser Vengeance took concentrated fire from a dozen enemy vessels. Its shields held for almost 30 seconds, then failed. Energy beams punched through the hull. Explosions ripped through the ship from bow to stern. 400 crew members died in seconds. Vengeance is gone, Jake Sullivan reported grimly. We're taking casualties. Kate Morrison felt each death like a knife in her heart, but she could not afford to hesitate. All ships execute Formation Delta. Concentrate fire on the command carrier. If we take out their leadership, the rest will falter. Ryan Beck saw the opportunity. Torres, give me everything you have. All weapons, maximum power. I want that command carrier cut in half. But before the Defiant could fire, Henry Blake's voice crackled over the communication system. Wraith to Defiant. I'm in position. I have a clear shot at their command ship's reactor core. Request permission to engage. Kate Morrison smiled. The Wraith had done its job perfectly, sneaking through enemy lines to position itself for a killing blow. Permission granted, Commander Blake. Make it count. Henry's ship was so close to the Dominion command carrier that he could see the aliens moving inside through the viewports. His ship's weapons, designed for close-range assassination strikes, locked onto the massive reactor that powered the enemy flagship. Fire, Henry said calmly. The Wraith's plasma lances punched through the command carrier's armor at point-blank range. The beam struck the reactor core directly. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the reactor lost containment. The explosion was visible from Earth. The command carrier, a ship 3 kilometers long and home to 10,000 crew members, simply vaporized. The shockwave destroyed 6 nearby Dominion vessels and damaged a dozen more. Commander Zarek died instantly, never knowing what hit him. Admiral Quentar, aboard a ship 2,000 kilometers away, watched in horror as his commander's flagship exploded. He had warned Zarek to be cautious. He had suggested gathering intelligence before attacking. But Zarek's pride had not allowed it, and now he was dead along with thousands of others. Quentar was not proud. Quentar was practical. He had survived 300 years of warfare by knowing when to fight and when to retreat. Right now, retreat seemed very wise. All ships fall back, he ordered. Defensive formation. Prepare to withdraw to the outer system. The Battle of Neptune's Gate lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Dominion fleet had lost over 100 ships. The Black Armada had lost 3 vessels, including the Vengeance. It was a victory, but not a cheap one. 1,200 human crew members would never go home. Kate Morrison stood on the bridge of the Defender, watching the last Dominion ships jump to hyperspace. They ran like scared animals, their perfect formation broken, their confidence shattered. She felt no joy in the victory. She felt only a grim satisfaction that Earth was safe, at least for now. "Get me a full damage report," she ordered. "I want to know the status of every ship, every weapon system, every crew member. And someone get me President Grant on a secure channel." Jake Sullivan worked at his station, coordinating with the other ships. 47 ships report operational status. 2 are heavily damaged but can make it back to base. "We have casualties across the fleet. Medical teams are working on the wounded now." Kate nodded. "What about the Dominion? Did we track where they went?" "Most of them jumped to different locations," Jake said. "But Captain Lisa Howard took the Horizon's Edge and followed the largest group. She's maintaining a safe distance and sending back intelligence." "Good. I want to know everything about them. Where they're going. What they're saying to each other. Whether they're planning to come back." President Grant's face appeared on the main screen. He looked tired but relieved. "Admiral Morrison, I've been watching the battle feeds." "You did it. You actually did it." "We did what we had to do, sir," Kate said. "But this isn't over. We won one battle. The Dominion Collective has 12 species and thousands of ships. They'll be back eventually." "I know," Grant said. "But right now, let's celebrate the fact that Earth is safe and humanity is still free. You and your crews are heroes. The whole planet is watching. They want to thank you." Kate felt uncomfortable with the praise. "We lost good people today, Mr. President. 1,200 crew members gave their lives. They're the heroes, not me." "You're all heroes," Grant said gently. "Take your fleet home, Admiral. You've earned a rest." The Black Armada began its journey back to the inner solar system. The ships moved slowly, some trailing debris, others showing visible damage from the battle. They had proven themselves in combat. The secret weapons had worked. But everyone knew that the war was not over. Ryan Beck walked through the corridors of the Defiant, checking on his crew. In the medical bay, doctors worked on the wounded. In the engine room, engineers repaired damaged systems. In the crew quarters, exhausted personnel tried to process what they had just experienced. He found Maya Torres in the weapons bay, running diagnostics on the Graviton pulse cannons. She looked up when he entered and he saw tears on her face. "I killed them," she said quietly. "I pushed the button and killed hundreds of aliens. Maybe thousands." Ryan sat down beside her. "You defended Earth. You protected billions of humans who would have died if we lost. That's not murder. That's war." "It doesn't feel like war," Maya said. "It feels like I'm a killer." "War makes killers of us all," Ryan said. "But it also makes us survivors. Those aliens came here to destroy our colonies and imprison our species. You stopped them. You saved lives by taking lives. That's the burden soldiers carry." Maya wiped her eyes. "Does it get easier?" "No," Ryan admitted. "It gets harder, but it also gets more important. Every time you feel bad about what you did, remember that feeling. Hold on to it. The day you stop feeling bad about killing is the day you become a monster. As long as it hurts, you're still human." Henry Blake's stealth ship, the Wraith, arrived back at the lunar base before the rest of the fleet. His ship had taken minimal damage and his crew was in good condition. But Henry himself looked haunted. He had been the one to fire the shot that destroyed the Dominion command carrier. 10,000 aliens had died in that explosion. He had killed more beings in a single moment than anyone else in human history. Admiral Peter Hayes, the founder of Protocol Black, met Henry at the dock. Hayes was old now, retired from active duty, but he still took a personal interest in the program he had created. "Commander Blake," Hayes said, "you did well out there." "I killed 10,000 sentient beings," Henry said flatly. "I erased a ship from existence. There wasn't even time for them to be afraid. They were just gone." Hayes nodded. "I know how you feel. I've made decisions that cost lives. It's the burden of command. But let me ask you something. If you could go back and make a different choice, would you?" Henry thought about it. "No. That ship was commanding the fleet that murdered our colonists. If I hadn't destroyed it, more humans would have died. But that doesn't make it easier." "It's not supposed to be easy," Hayes said. "The moment killing becomes easy is the moment we've lost our humanity. You carry that burden so that billions of others don't have to. That's what makes you a hero." Far from Earth, in a sector of space controlled by the Dominion Collective, Admiral Quentar arrived at the capital world with the survivors of his fleet. He was immediately summoned before the Council of 12, the leaders of the species that made up the Dominion. The council chamber was enormous, designed to hold representatives from 12 different species. Each representative sat on a throne suited to their biology. Some were humanoid, others were completely alien. All of them were angry. The Vector representative spoke first. Its voice was like grinding stone. "Admiral Quentar, you commanded 300 ships. You return with less than 200. You were sent to crush a primitive species. Instead, you fled from them. Explain yourself." Quentar stood straight, showing no fear. "The humans are not primitive. They possess technology we have never encountered. Weapons that ignore our shields, drives that manipulate dark matter, temporal fields that slow our weapons to useless speeds, and they fought with a ferocity that exceeded all predictions." "Excuses," the Thal representative hissed. "Commander Zarek warned us that you were weak. He said you lacked the courage to fight." "Commander Zarek is dead," Quentar said coldly. "His courage got him killed along with 10,000 crew members. I chose survival over pride. That is why I am here and he is not." The council members argued among themselves. Some wanted to send a larger fleet immediately. Others wanted to study the humans more carefully before engaging again. A few suggested that perhaps humanity should be approached diplomatically instead of militarily. Finally, the eldest member of the council, a being so old its species was no longer clearly identifiable, spoke in a voice like whispers. "For 1,000 years, the Dominion has ruled through superior technology and military force. But this human fleet has demonstrated technology that rivals or exceeds our own. This is unprecedented. We should destroy them before they become a real threat," the Vector representative growled. "We tried that," Quentar said. "It did not go well." The council continued to debate. Some wanted revenge, others wanted to understand. But all of them agreed on one thing. Humanity could no longer be ignored or dismissed. The galaxy had changed. Back on Earth, Captain Lisa Howard sent her reports from her surveillance position. She had followed the retreating Dominion fleet and was now observing their territory from a safe distance. "Admiral Morrison, this is Howard. I've been monitoring their communications. The Dominion is in chaos. Different species are blaming each other for the defeat. Some want to negotiate with us. Others want revenge. But they're all scared. They've never encountered a species that could match their technology." Kate smiled grimly. "Good. Fear will keep them cautious. What about their military preparations?" "Mixed," Howard reported. "Some fleets are being recalled to defend their core worlds. Others are preparing for offensive operations. I'd estimate we have 3 to 6 months before they make another move, and even then, they'll be more careful this time." "Keep monitoring them," Kate ordered. "I want to know everything they do. If they sneeze wrong, I want to hear about it." On Earth, the celebration continued. Cities held parades. Schools taught children about the brave crews of the Black Armada. Artists created statues and paintings commemorating the battle. Humanity had faced extinction and survived. But in the government buildings, President Grant and his advisors knew the truth. They had won a battle, not a war. The Dominion Collective was wounded but not destroyed. Eventually they would recover. Eventually they would return. "We need to prepare," Grant said to his council. "We need more ships, better weapons, stronger defenses. The Black Armada gave us a victory, but we need to make sure it wasn't our last victory." Greg Martinez nodded. "I've been talking to the colonial governments. Everyone wants to help. Mars is offering its industrial capacity for ship construction. The belt miners want to provide raw materials. Even the outer colonies are sending resources. We also need allies," Claire Davis added. She had opposed fighting at first, but after seeing the victory, she had changed her position. "Captain Howard's reports say that some Dominion species are questioning their leadership. Maybe we can exploit that. Turn their enemies into our friends." Kate Morrison attended the meeting via video link from her ship. "We also need to expand the Black Armada. 50 ships won one battle. But if the Dominion sends 1,000 ships, 50 won't be enough. We need to build more vessels and train more crews. How long would that take?" Grant asked. 3 weeks passed after the Battle of Neptune's Gate. Earth celebrated its victory, but the government worked day and night to prepare for what might come next. Everyone knew the Dominion would not simply accept defeat and move on. Kate Morrison divided her time between rebuilding the fleet and planning for future conflicts. The Black Armada had proven itself in battle, but 3 ships had been destroyed and many others needed repairs. New crews had to be trained. New weapons had to be developed. There was so much to do. On a Tuesday morning, an unexpected visitor arrived at Earth. A single alien ship appeared at the edge of the solar system and transmitted a message asking for permission to approach. It was not a Dominion vessel. The ship's design was unlike anything in the Dominion database. President Grant called an emergency meeting. Kate Morrison attended in person, along with Jake Sullivan and the entire Terran Council. "What do we know about this ship?" Grant asked. Nina Patel pulled up the analysis on the main screen. "The vessel is small, designed for diplomatic missions rather than warfare. The energy signature matches a species called the Kelth, from a region of space far from Dominion territory. They're requesting permission to send an ambassador to meet with you." "Could it be a trick?" Claire Davis asked. "Maybe the Dominion sent them to gather intelligence." "Possible," Kate said. "But if they wanted intelligence, they'd use spies, not a diplomatic vessel broadcasting its arrival." "I think they're genuine." Grant made his decision. "Grant them permission to approach Earth, but keep the Guardian fleet on standby. If this is a trap, I want to be ready." The alien ship landed at the diplomatic facility in Geneva 2 days later. From it emerged Ambassador First Wing Krell, a being that looked like a cross between a bird and a mammal. It had 4 wings folded against its body, a face with features both familiar and strange, and it moved with a grace that suggested intelligence and wisdom. President Grant met the ambassador in the Great Hall, with Kate Morrison and his advisors standing nearby. Cameras recorded everything for people around the world to see. Krell spoke in perfect English, having studied human languages during the journey to Earth. "President Grant, I bring greetings from the Neutral Confederacy, an alliance of 47 species who refuse to join either the Dominion Collective or the Empire of Stars. We have watched your conflict with the Dominion with great interest." "Why?" Grant asked directly. "Why does our fight matter to you?" Krell's eyes, large and expressive, met Grant's without fear. "Because for 1,000 years the Dominion has ruled through intimidation and technological superiority. Species either join them or are conquered. There is no third option, until now." The ambassador moved to a window overlooking the city. "Your species did something remarkable. You faced the Dominion's demands and refused. You built weapons in secret. You fought a superior force and won. You have proven that the Dominion can be defeated. And you want us to help you fight them," Kate said, understanding immediately. "No," Krell said, surprising everyone. "We do not ask you to fight our battles. We come to offer friendship and alliance. The Neutral Confederacy believes in cooperation between equals, not domination by the strong. We think humanity would fit well with our principles." Grant studied the alien carefully. "What would this alliance mean?" "What would you ask of us?" "Trade, cultural exchange, mutual defense pacts. We would share technology and knowledge. We would stand together if threatened. But each species maintains its independence and makes its own choices. We are a confederacy, not an empire." "And the Dominion?" Grant asked. "How would they react if we joined you?" "They would be angry," Krell admitted. "But they would also be cautious. The Neutral Confederacy has 47 member species. Adding humanity would make 48. Together, we represent a significant power block that even the Dominion must respect." The negotiations took 3 days. Lawyers reviewed treaties. Scientists discussed technology exchanges. Military leaders talked about defense pacts. In the end, President Grant made his decision. "We will join the Neutral Confederacy as equal partners, but we have conditions. We maintain full control of our military. We choose which technologies to share and which to keep secret. And we reserve the right to leave the Confederacy if we believe it no longer serves humanity's interests." Krell agreed to all conditions. "You are wise to be cautious. Trust must be earned, not demanded. We look forward to working with humanity." The treaty was signed in a ceremony broadcast across human space and transmitted to the Confederacy's member worlds. Humanity was no longer alone in the galaxy. They had allies now, friends who respected their strength and shared their values. But not everyone was happy about the changes happening on Earth. Director Sam Phillips ran the newly formed Terran Intelligence Bureau, an organization created to monitor threats both external and internal. He brought concerning news to President Grant. "Sir, we're detecting unusual activity in Dominion space. Captain Howard's surveillance shows increased military production. Shipyards are working at maximum capacity. They're building something big." "How big?" Grant asked. "At current rates, they could have 1,000 new warships within a year, maybe more. They're also reassigning experienced commanders from other sectors. This isn't just rebuilding their losses. This is preparation for a major offensive. Kate Morrison studied the intelligence reports. They're planning to come back. But not now. They're going to take their time, build overwhelming force, and crush us with sheer numbers. Can we match their production? Grant asked. Not alone, Kate admitted, but with help from the Confederacy, maybe. If we share ship designs and coordinate production across multiple species, we might have a chance. The decision was made to accelerate humanity's military expansion. Shipyards were built on Mars in the asteroid belt and around the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. The Confederacy provided advanced manufacturing techniques and access to resources from their member worlds. Earth's colonies contributed materials and labor. Alex Chen, the physicist who had designed the Black Armada's revolutionary weapons, led a team working on next-generation technology. They studied data from the battle, learning what worked and what needed improvement. The graviton pulse cannons were extremely effective, Alex explained to Kate during a briefing, but they drained too much power. We need to make them more efficient. The temporal dilation fields worked perfectly for defense, but they're too expensive to deploy on every ship. We need cheaper alternatives. What about new weapons? Kate asked. The Dominion will adapt their tactics. They'll develop countermeasures. We need to stay ahead of them. Alex grinned. I have some ideas. Remember how the dark matter torpedoes worked? What if we could weaponize quantum entanglement? Create pairs of particles that affect each other instantaneously regardless of distance? We could have weapons that bypass shields completely because they're already inside the target ship at the quantum level. Is that even possible? 3 years ago I would have said no, but we built ships that manipulate dark matter and create temporal fields. At this point, I'm willing to try anything. Ryan Beck was promoted to admiral and given command of the new Guardian Fleet Defense Force. His job was to train the crews that would fly the next generation of ships. He worked tirelessly, pushing both himself and his students to be better. Maya Torres became an instructor, teaching new weapons officers how to use the Black Armada's advanced systems. She was patient with students who struggled but demanding of excellence. She had killed to defend Earth, and she was determined that future officers would be ready to do the same if necessary. Henry Blake took a different path. His experience destroying the Dominion command carrier had affected him deeply. He requested and received a transfer to diplomatic service, joining the team that worked with the neutral Confederacy. I've done enough killing, he told Kate when explaining his decision. I want to build bridges instead of destroying ships. Maybe if we make enough friends in the galaxy, we won't need to fight at all. Kate understood. You did what needed to be done, Henry. No one blames you for wanting a different life now. Good luck. 6 months after the battle, the Dominion Collective finally sent an official communication to Earth. It was not a threat. It was a treaty proposal. The message was formal and carefully worded. The Dominion acknowledged Earth's sovereignty over its current territory. They proposed a non-aggression pact, promising not to attack human worlds if humanity agreed not to expand into Dominion-claimed sectors. They even offered limited trade agreements and cultural exchanges. President Grant called another emergency meeting. They're afraid of us, he said. They know we can hurt them, so they're offering peace instead of war. It's a trap, Greg Martinez said immediately. They're buying time to build up their forces. Once they're ready, they'll break the treaty and attack. Maybe, Kate said. But refusing the treaty guarantees war. Accepting it gives us time too. Time to build more ships. Time to strengthen our alliance with the Confederacy. Time to prepare. Claire Davis supported the treaty. We've proven we can fight. Now let's prove we can make peace. If the treaty fails, we're no worse off than we are now. But if it works, we might avoid a devastating war. After much debate, President Grant decided to accept the treaty, but with